joining us now, a native of Baltimore and a man who set all sorts of new records during his career at the University of Minnesota. He just had an excellent week out at the East-West Shrine Bowl, and now he's getting ready for the NFL Combine. It's a pleasure to welcome in Baltimore's own Mohamed Ibrahim to GCR. Mohamed, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to catch up with you, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that intro.
Absolutely, dude.
Happy to be on the show.
Mo, we've been watching you from afar. Admittedly, wishing that maybe you would have been a little bit more recruited here at Maryland, but that's a conversation for another day. Can you just sort of take me through? Let's go back. How about we go a ways back, right? Like growing up here as a kid in Baltimore. I know you ended up at Good Counsel, but can you take me through? Like, was there a moment in your life that it like first struck you? Like, dude, I might legitimately have a chance to turn this game that I like playing into a way that I go about making a living.
Yeah, I would say it started pretty young. I played on the Woodlawn Falcons out in the Woodlawn area, and we had a pretty decent team. And just seeing the success that we was having out there, just seeing just how I ranked up against everybody in like Maryland, Baltimore area, I was like, okay, I think I can do it. And then I played for the Hamilton Tigers, my 8th grade year, and it was like unlimited. Like it was no weight limit. I was like, oh, these big guys can't really hit like that, and I was like, oh, I think I can really do it. Like it's time to turn it up a notch.
Was it when you didn't have like the most stars in recruiting, when you weren't getting the attention other guys were getting, was there ever a moment where you doubted yourself? Like it wasn't a certain thing that you're going to end up in the Big Ten. Like not all of your offers were coming from major programs. Was there ever a moment where you're like, I don't know, maybe it's not going to happen for me the way that I thought?
Yeah, I didn't set myself up pretty well. I think that it was all on, the reason why I didn't have a lot of scholarships was my fault. So it was just in God's hand. I just put it in God's hand and took it day by day. At the end of my recruiting process, it got kind of hectic. I didn't really have that many offers. So we were just reaching out to different people. And then, Coach Fleck took a try on me, and I was like, I'm not going to let you down. It was one of those situations. So, I left it in God's hand. I wasn't panicking. And, when it came down to it, I think that God put me in the right situation.
Yeah.
And it was perfect.
The rest, they would say, is literally history, considering all of the records you broke at the University of Minnesota. Baltimore's own Mohamed Ibrahim is with us here on GCR. By the way, first of all, is it all right if I call you Mo? I know a lot of people in your life do. Is that okay, or is that for people that you're close with?
No, you can call me Mo.
Okay.
That's no problem.
All right, we'll go with Mo. Mo, how did your upbringing here, and I know like your family, boy, you are one of the more interesting stories, I think, in the entire NFL draft, but like how did your upbringing here help shape you for getting yourself to this point and being on the cusp of an NFL career?
Yeah. So I moved to Baltimore when I was in the 3rd grade, and moving there, it just showed me a lot of, hardship, stuff like that. And then when I was out there, it was pretty fun actually. All the things we did as a kid, it was like a lot of activity, stuff like that. But I think it was one event that really changed my life, and it was at a young age. We was living in an apartment complex, and it caught on fire. We had a hard time. My mom had to work double shift, stuff like that. We was hotel to hotel, and we was just trying to get on our feet. But throughout that whole situation, my mom was never putting her head down. My mom was never complaining, stuff like that. She used to come home and she was always have a smile on her face. So, it taught me through adversity, you got to continue being yourself, continue having faith. And you can see that throughout my whole career, when I didn't have no scholarships, just always having faith that, things are going to be okay. God have a plan for you. and just keep being yourself. Don't let the hard time humble you, stuff like that. And then with the Achilles injury,
Yep.
not listening to all the outside noise, stuff like that. That all came back to that situation where I leaned on my mom, and my mom always gave me great advice and stuff like that. So Baltimore shaped me as a man at a very young age, and it carried on throughout all the different situations I was going through.
Wow, it's powerful to hear you say that. Like losing a year of football maybe pales in comparison to not knowing like where you're going to be sleeping at night, right? Like
Right.
it's, you got to keep perspective in those moments. Let's talk about that, right? 6 years in college, and obviously you were primed for a huge 2021, and to get out at that point and go on and make that jump. When you get hurt,
Right.
when you tear your Achilles, do any like feelings of doubt creep back in? Do you have any moment where you say, "Oh my God, I was this close," and is it going to be the same afterwards?
Of course, you have those feelings. You hear all the news outlets. You see all the all the hype coming up to the season, and then it happens the first game, and it's like what could have been. You never know what could have been, and then you hold your head down, and then you realize like it's not that serious. Like it's just a football. Like it's just a football game. Like um that's where I had to humble myself and like bring myself back down to earth. It's just I had to humble myself and just understand that it's just a game. But it helped me like shape my life to see what I actually want to do outside of football. And I seen how important football was to me when it got taken away from me. And that was my first year I didn't play football. So it kind of hurt, but it showed me that hey, it's a better life out there outside of football. And now I know I want to coach. I want to be a coach out
Wow.
there when my time playing is done. So like I said, God always has a reason for me. Like everything that I always go through, it always showed me some. I was hurt for a year. I was showing the young guys what to do, stuff like that, and then it showed me like, hey, like this coaching thing might be for you. Beforehand, I used to always tell my mom like, I don't want to be no coach. Like it's not me. My mom was like, you would be a great coach. I'm like, nah, that's not me. That's not me. And then I got hurt, and it was just like, yeah, that's definitely me. Like my mom seen it before I could see it. But
Wait. Have you already
it was
adopted
all
like?
in God's plan.
Have you already adopted any coach speak? Like, is there a phrase that you said you're like, oh man, now I sound like a coach?
Yeah, you pick up like a few things. Just being like a coach, just always repeating yourself. You just out there saying like the same thing. So you pick up little things that you like.
I mean, I completely. Some coaches are a little bit too corny for me, Mo. Like that would be a bit much. But some of them,
Yeah.
when you find one that's real, man, it's really special, and I certainly think that'd be an amazing way for you to go. But clearly, you've got a lot to do football wise before that point of your life. I understand that.
Right.
You come back after the torn Achilles. You take the 6th year. Were you nervous at all about, and I'm sure you're already dealing with it, that people are looking at you and they're saying, dude, you're 24, you're old, right? Like that's the way that, it's sort of the reputation for guys that spend that much time in college get coming into the NFL. Did you worry about all of that, and how important was it for you to show, not just the production, but what jumps off the page at me is the yards after contact this season to like show to everybody, dude, I'm not feeling anything related to the injury whatsoever.
It was so when I got hurt and I was making that decision on if I should come back or not. I talked to a lot of different people. I got connected to a lot of different people, and the big thing was nobody ever came back from Achilles. Nobody. It was saying like no running back ever come back the same. Like I thought that my plan was still in motion. I thought that I could still go to NFL. I thought that everything I did in the past can still show that I'm a great football player. So, come November, I start having these big boy conversations. I put on my big boy pants, and I'm having these conversations, and they're like, nobody can come back from an Achilles, and you're not going to get drafted. Nobody's going to draft you. And if they do pick you up, they're going to run you down to the floor to see how the Achilles does. So then I was like, okay, so my floor is I'm not getting drafted. So it's either I don't get drafted 2021 year, or I come back and let's say I don't get drafted again. Did I give myself the better chance? So now I'm weighing my options. So it's like, okay, if I come back for another year, I can show people my Achilles don't hurt. I can show people that I'm a football player. Like I can play through it. I can show people that it don't bother me. Or I can go right now and like don't have no faith in it, just going out there and just not really having faith in it. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna come back. Like I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show people I can play on the Achilles. Like it don't bother me. Like I'm good. So yeah, that was my plan. So I dropped. I decided to come back, and everybody was just like, hey, like you can work your way back into the draft. Da, da, da. You can show people how great of a running back you are, and I think that's exactly what I did. So it
Mission
was
accomplished, I would say.
mission 100% accomplished.
Mission accomplished. And I wonder if, in a way, as we're chatting just another few minutes here with Mohamed Ibrahim from Minnesota, Baltimore native, with us here on GCR, I wonder if, in a way, it's part of your sales pitch to NFL teams at this point that you're more prepared to make the jump immediately, that you wouldn't maybe need quite as much of an on-ramp as some guys would, given your age, given your experience, given everything that you've been through, that you feel like you're a little bit more ready to be impacting on the field next season than maybe your average rookie would be.
Yeah. I'm 23 right now, so I was just like, hey, like I took that as like that was gonna be my rookie year. I took that last season I just had like, hey, that's my rookie year. Like I showed y'all what I could do.
Yeah.
It was basically like a coming out of the pocket moment. It was just like, hey, like I showed y'all what I can do. Like just have faith in me. So that's how I looked at it.
I mean, my man, it couldn't have gone a whole lot better. I know that much. It couldn't have gone a whole lot better. Mo, obviously, the Ravens have spent a lot of time scouting at the University of Minnesota the last couple of years. They've gotten to know some dudes. I wonder if Rashad, if Daniel Faalele, if those guys at all reached out to you over the course of the last couple of years, tried to ask you questions about hey man, I'm headed to your neck of the woods. What should I know? Who should I go see? I just wonder what your relationships were like with those guys.
Yeah, so I'm older than both of those guys.
It's so funny, right? It's so funny.
Yeah, so I seen Rashad come in. I seen Falele come in, and I had a great relationship with both of them. Those guys, they both came in at a young age. Started playing very early. I got really close to Rashad Bateman. Me and him was real close. We still are real close. So anytime he has questions or anytime we're talking and stuff like that, I always ask him how Baltimore is and stuff like that. He loved it out there. So, and then Dan, me and Dan was actually close too. But we're more on the gaming side. We play games together,
That's
stuff
cool.
like that. So,
have you allowed? I mean, do you let yourself dream at all about your story's amazing already? Dude, if this story culminated with you putting on purple and coming back home, it would be one of the truly most incredible stories in Ravens history. I know you're excited, wherever it's going to be. I understand that part of it. But do you allow yourself to dream at all about, what that would be like if it were the Ravens and you were back home and, with a bunch of dudes you already know, sharing an offensive room with? Do you let yourself think about that possibility at all?
Yeah, it goes through my mind quite often. I had in the athletic room at Minnesota, it was a lot of different fans in there, and just seeing the situation that the Ravens was in with the running backs. Was it this year or last year? But
when everybody got hurt, right?
And stuff like that. Yeah. So it was just hey, you never know, they might pick you up, and there was always a running joke inside of our locker room and stuff like that, because I was a huge Ravens fan in the locker room. So, it comes up every Sunday when y'all play, stuff like that. So, I would love to going back to Baltimore. It would be going right back home to the Owens Mills area, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I would love to come back to Maryland, but it's in God's hands. Just seeing what the next few months look like. It's all question marks.
Is there anyone in your family that it would be particularly difficult for if it were to be Pittsburgh? Like, is there anyone, a friend, a family member, someone that you're close with that they're such a fan that, like, they're going to root for you, but it's going to be tough as hell for them?
Yeah, my personal trainer, where so he raised me basically. He like on the football side, like we worked out together and stuff like that. He was a huge Ravens fan, and if I put on the black and yellow, he'd probably won't talk to me for a while. But but I know it's all love.
Dude, we take things very seriously around here. It's the way that it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
Mo, I guess let me wrap with this. Whether it's the Ravens, whoever it is, what are they getting when they call Mohamed Ibrahim's name in the NFL draft?
They're going to get a hard worker, consistent type of guy. He's always going to come in, do his job. If he come in as a role player, and the starter goes out of the game and he runs into the game, okay, I can count on this guy. He's going to do his job. He's going to do more. He's going to chase me down the field. He's going to help the play out. He's going to squeeze everything out the orange. That type of guy. And if I come in as the starter, it's going to be somebody that they can rely on. Somebody's going to go out there and make plays. Somebody's going to go out there and just help the team, win, get a championship, stuff like that. Like, you're going to get a great guy in the locker room, not just a great football player, but a great guy in the locker room. Yeah.
We like the sounds of that here, man. We, what we're rooting for, but we're gonna, it is what it is. Mo, where can folks around here be giving you a follow? Twitter, Instagram, anywhere? How can they sort of keep tabs on you as you're going through this entire process?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Mo, Ibrahim, Ibrahim Jr. My Twitter is _ I believe it's _ Mo, Mo, Ibrahim, Ibrahim, and those are the two social medias I mainly be on.
Mo, I'm really, what a career you've already had, right? The accomplishments, amazing, all Big Ten, all American, everything, but seriously can't wait to see what's next for you. You are very much making everybody back this way proud. If it's Baltimore, we can't wait. I mean, it would just be the most incredible story. If it is Pittsburgh, please don't be offended by what we say about you on Twitter. We promise it's not personal. We don't mean it. Congratulations on everything. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
Thank you, brother.